What's good, y'all? CodeNameChriz back with another video. Now, I'm sorry about the dry content. The PS5 is not in my hands, and the content I want to post won't happen because games are getting pushed back left and right. So sorry, guys, but this video is about to be about my gaming and editing life. Now, if you do not care about any of this shit, you should just leave. I mean, there's a giant X button on the top right of your screen. Just press it. Press it right now if you don't care about my gaming experience and my editing life. Because I'm going way back, guys. I'm going back from 2001 to 2000s, bro. That's how far I'm going back. So let's get it. I warned you already. So if you don't want to watch it, please leave. But like, comment, subscribe, guys. Let's get into it. Early 2000s was a really big thing for most kids, especially for me. I was born in 1996. Now, Apple computers, for those of you who don't know, Apple computers weren't always thin. They had the little back part. You know, the first generation Apple computers. Everyone had them in school. Everyone had them in their schools, everyone. Now, a lot of us played on those computers. A lot of us did growing up. Now, we all played ABC Arcade and Newgrounds. Now, Flash Player was a big thing for ABC Arcade and Newgrounds. Flash Player, RIP to Flash Player. Flash Player ended in December of 2020. I haven't been on those games since. A lot of games came out for them back then that a lot of us kids played growing up. Now, those were like the dominant websites. Newgrounds was a dominant website. ABC Arcade, a dominant website. We all played games on there. Apple also had what else? Apple also had Tony Hawk Pro Skater Sport 4. Now, a lot of computers in some schools had these games already downloaded for some weird reason, and we just discovered them, like ABC Arcade. Those websites and Newgrounds, those websites just popped up. But the games themselves, like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, was already downloaded to the computer. Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, Bug Dumb. If you don't know what Bug Dumb is, you're sleeping. Bug Dumb, Nanosaur, a bunch of good games. A lot of these good games were so amazing. We all had fun playing them. But you know, eventually Apple upgraded their systems, so we can never play these games anymore because they weren't on the newer Apple computers. So eventually, you know, the newer Apple computers had different games, and you know, so on and so on. Games got better throughout time. Now, the Game Boy Advance. I never had the first ever Game Boy Advance. Believe it or not, I never had it. My mom couldn't afford it. But let me rephrase that. I didn't have the first Game Boy. I had the Advance. I never had the first Game Boy. I'm thinking about buying one. Might as well, right? I mean, might as well. In good condition though. But I had a Game Boy Advance. Now, the Game Boy Advance was my first ever like handheld console. I played Star Wars, a black and white version of it. I forgot the name of it. That game was alright. But I played a lot of Sonic games, Sonic Advance. I also played a lot of Spider-Man games as well. I played other games as well on my Game Boy Advance. I just don't remember all the games because I remember mostly playing Sonic and Spider-Man. Those were like the dominant games back then for Game Boy Advance. Everyone played them. And Pokemon, but I didn't really play Pokemon back then because around the time I was growing up, Pokemon was a thing, but then Yu-Gi-Oh took over. So I didn't really play any Pokemon games on Game Boy Advance. Eventually my Game Boy Advance died because it's this thing when you making your science class towards the last day of school called Flubber. Flubber is a movie, so you all know what it is. If you don't know what Flubber is, you really should watch the movie. It's a good movie. But Flubber was a really good thing to make in your special for science class, and I made it. Now, I was in my pocket with my Game Boy, and I was in recess, and I had both of my pockets. I had nowhere to put it. Should have put my book back, but I didn't. I'm an idiot. I was a dumb kid. Yes, I'm sorry. Flubber got all in my sticks in my Game Boy, and I really couldn't use it anymore. Got rid of it. I was pissed. Of course I was. I was a kid. I loved my Game Boy Advance to the death of me, and it was expensive because my mom paid for like so much money for that thing. I still don't know how much those things cost. I should actually look into it after this. But yeah, so eventually the Game Boy Advance died on me, and I moved on to other games. I went back to PC. Now the PS2. I finally got my PlayStation 2 in the early 2000s. The first ever game I got from PS2 was Ratchet & Clank. Ratchet & Clank was a very, very, very inspiration to my life. I love the Ratchet & Clank series. I'm happy it came back this year, and I can't wait to play it again. I played so many. I have over 50 games for my PS2. Over 50. You guys to say I'm spoiled. I'm not. I paid for some of those games myself with my Christmas money as well when I was a kid. I played a lot of good games like Crash Tag Team Racing, Teen Titans, The Incredibles. So many. I have so many games. I'm gonna put a picture of how many I have. I have so many PS2 games. So many, guys. I love the PS2. The PS2 was a revolution of gaming. Like, everyone loved the PS2. It's the most sold console in gaming history. Everyone loved the PS2, especially for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was the most dominant game for the PlayStation 2. Now, I didn't have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Believe it or not, I didn't have it. I just watched kids played it on their PS2s or on their PSPs when they used to bring them to school. Now the PSP was never in my hands. I never owned one. I played on one before and I borrowed one before, but I never had one. I didn't really see a point in one either because I had a PS2. The only time I bring a PSP was me if I left the house, which I barely did as a kid. I was always on the computer or on a PlayStation 2, or go to school and bring it there. Now, I didn't want to bring it to school if I had one because, you know, somebody gonna steal it. So yeah, but that never happened. But yeah, the PlayStation 2 had so many good games. Like Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction was another one. I had a lot of good games on the PlayStation 2, and I really enjoyed my days on the PS2, like SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, 2007, 2009. I had a good time on the PS2. The PS2 was such a fun console to play on, especially at my age as a kid. But eventually, when you're playing these games, it's not online. Now mind you, most of these games were not online. Only some games were online, but a lot of people didn't have the Ethernet cord to connect to play online. So I was like, you know, let me play on PC at the same time at PS2. So one day I'm on my PC, you know, they run ads on PC all the time when you're playing games. Came across a game called Sherwood Dungeon. Now Sherwood Dungeon is still alive to this day. Surprisingly, people play it, but the servers all merged. They had different servers: Ruby, Emerald, and Safari. Now these servers were all different when it came to clans and it came to environments of people. Sherwood Dungeon was a giant game back then. Only one person ran the game himself. It was a big game back then. Now I was in the Safari servers. Safari servers were most of the dominant clans were, like DV, BW, LV, Crystal Lake. The clan I was in was the biggest clan of the game. The biggest clan of the game was GOW, Gods of War, Gao. The game and the clan, everyone knew who Gao was. Everyone knew who BD was. Everyone knew who DV was. These clans were all dominant. Now, BW was the biggest threat for Sherwood Dungeon back in the day. They had so many members, guys. It was ridiculous. The game wasn't the best looking game, but you know, for that time it was. And we had to group up together to beat these guys. So there was a massive war one day. BW versus Gao, DV, and another one of our allies had a huge war. One in the history. BW just fell after that. Their leaders quit and everything. I was like, damn, we beat them that bad. Like we beat their ass. We beat their ass. I had so much fun in Sherwood Dungeon. It was a good game to have fun in. But eventually Gao had his issues and the game eventually died. Now, Gates of Aneron. Gates of Aneron, the game I went to after Sherwood died. I used to love this game, guys. I put so many hours into this game. Eventually, me playing this game in middle school when I was like around 12. No, when I started playing this game, I was in the 6th grade. So I played this game for like 4 or 5 years straight. I became the most dominant warrior in the game, the 3rd best warrior class in the game. I became the 3rd best warrior in the game. Surprisingly, I was supposed to be the 2nd because the 2nd best warrior, he only outgeared me because he can buy stuff to make his armor better when I was just a 13, 12-year-old kid that couldn't buy shit. If I were to go back in that game, it was active now, oh yeah, I'll be the 2nd best warrior. I would not be the 1st best warrior. The 1st best warrior was a guy named Dead End. Dead End was a cool ass guy. He had the best gear, armor, and weapons in the game. He was dominant. But Gates of Aneron, I had fun in Gates of Aneron. It's a game I actually put my passion in my life into a lot in middle school. I went to a terrible middle school, so every day there'll be fights at the school. I'll just go home. I really wouldn't go outside much. I was mostly in the house gaming and playing this or just chilling most of the time. But I used to play Gates of Aneron all the time, 24/7, all the time. I used to love this game, guys. I was in the strongest guild. The guild was called Genesis. Genesis was rumored to be, what I heard before, when I was a low level, people were saying they were like rich, some naughty kids, and I was like, really? They're like, yeah, bro, they're all snotty brats, yada yada yada. Eventually, the guild I was in died, and I was technically the leader because the leader himself had issues. So I was technically leading them to something called AC. AC is like basically a war event. We're going against the other type of people. There were Darians and there were Vals. We were Vals, the military, and Darians were like the magical people, whatever. And every time AC happened, I would lead the guild to go fight with other players around the world, other guilds, whatever. And eventually the guild died. And I was like, you know what? I asked all of them, let's join a guild. Who should we go with? I caught my 20 to 25 most active members. And I was like, which guild should we join? I asked a bunch of them. There was like COK, Church of Crime. They're like, nah, let's join Genesis. They're the strongest guild in the game. Let's join Genesis. Now around this time, I'm level 50, level 60. So I'm not leaving level 190 yet. So I'm surprised they accepted all of us. But I talked to the guild master. Me and him were actually really cool. He was like, are they all active? I'm like, yeah, these are all my actives. Eventually, we joined, and people left one by one. Due to the fact that they felt like Genesis was just all high levels, and they were all the low levels. Because when I was level 50 or 60, they were all level 40 and 30s, just grinding. So people left one by one, and then some other people they left as well because around the time we joined a guild, it was summer, so we all had free time. But once school started and summer was over, most people had to go job, most people had college, all this other stuff. So people left one by one. I remember everyone's name: Alphabet Soup, Blood Braider, the girl on the board who had a baby, Rampage, Too Sharp. Eventually, it came down to my original members that were left was Rampart. Was Ram, Too Sharp, Joe Playa, and Raj. Those are my out of 25 people. Only 4 of my people stayed with me as well. But eventually Genesis died. They had arguments. People were getting on people's asses, stuff like that. It was ridiculous. And I was younger at the time, so I didn't have a voice, and I didn't really say anything on my mic. I used to be quiet because I'm like, okay, I'm only 13, 12 years old. I can't really say anything because if I say something, people gonna be like, oh, you're a kid, yada yada yada. Now they all thought I was older back then until I actually told them I'm like 13, 12 years old. But back then I really couldn't say anything like, oh, why y'all arguing, he's the leader, yada yada, because there's people who's gonna disagree and agree. Every time there's a clan or a guild, people agree and disagree, so that caused a split in Genesis. I stayed in Genesis. The other half of people went to a guild called Strangeland, and then Strangeland died, and then Genesis officially dead, and then we formed a new guild called Never Forgotten, which had ex-Genesis members, became one of the best guilds in the game. The game eventually, Gates of Anaron eventually died because there was a massive gold glitch. I say my 10th grade year in high school, so I say around 2013. Yeah, 2013 I believe, or 2014, around that time. The gold glitch killed the game, and the game completely died. They merged a server with another server. It didn't work out. Game completely died. Gates of Anaron was a good game in my life. I enjoyed playing that game. I became the 3rd best warrior in that game. I put a lot of hours and time into that game. I still talk to some of the people to this day. Now, the PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 3 was my second favorite console. I will always love the PlayStation 3, and that's when Extreme Demon 67 first came alive. Now, I never used to play online for the PlayStation 3 because I didn't really have Wi-Fi, and back then Wi-Fi wasn't really the thing at that time. Now, one day I was like, you know what? Assassin's Creed Brotherhood had an online. That was one of the games I played a lot. I love the Assassin's Creed series to begin with. I love from the start to Brotherhood. No, to Revelations. After Revelations, I didn't play Assassin's Creed. I played 3, but that was about it. I haven't played Assassin's Creed in years. But I love the Ezio series. And one day I was like, they have an online. So let me try going to my living room and plug the Ethernet cord to my PS3 and see if it works. It worked. But my Ethernet cord was connected to my computer. The regular home computer. I used to use a laptop to play Gates of Anaron. So I used to use that computer to play Gates, but then I got a laptop. But I connected the Ethernet cord to the PlayStation 3. It worked. I was like, whoa, but they were asking me to create a PlayStation account. Now, I didn't know what name to put. And the way Demon was spelled at the time was like very popular. D3M09. That was really popular at the time. So I was like, okay, Extreme Demon. Someone took it surprisingly. I was like, what? Someone took this name? Like, what? So I played Extreme Demon 67, and that's when Extreme Demon was technically born. When that happened, I started playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood competitively. I got into other games. Like, I played Skyrim a lot. Skyrim was not online at the time. Skyrim was just a regular single player game. I played Battlefield. I became a top player in Battlefield now. And the best game I've ever played on PS3 online was a game called Gotham City Imposters. Now, I was the top 5 best player in Gotham City Imposters. I'm telling you guys right now, if I had a recording system to record all my gameplays for PS3, I would have blew up on YouTube a long time ago. Because that game, I put so many hours into that game. I met most of my PS3 friends. One of my guys named Wrestler Fan. He used to play the game with me. He was a dominant player too. I was in the top 5 and the best player lead. I was in the top 5 leaderboard. Like, I was amazing at that game. I used to play that game day in and day out. That's all I used to play. And then eventually the game died. They shut down the servers because the game was eventually dying. Because it was only popular at first because it was a PlayStation Plus, a free game, and then eventually it died because they didn't put that much effort into it. So they shut it down on PlayStation. It was only live on Xbox and Steam. eventually Xbox went down a few months later, and it's on Steam now. Some people still play it to this day, but it's a very, very, very small community. It's smaller than Titanfall. But eventually, you know, the game was gonna die. It was one of my favorite games to play. I wish I had gameplays for it, because man, I was going crazy in that game. My KD was ridiculous. I was going crazy in that game. But eventually, through all that, around the time Gates was dying and I was playing PlayStation 3, I became a video editor. Now I used to watch anime all the time. I still watch anime to this day. You know, when you're on your computer, you want to go on YouTube. Now this is around this time, this is when YouTube was like growing. Everyone wasn't like on YouTube at the time, like growing. I'm talking about the first ever channel banner for YouTube. YouTube was a small thing. It wasn't how it is now. Even back then, they were called Google Videos. Now Google Videos had these videos like Naruto versus Sasuke, Linkin Park background music. We used to watch them things all the time in school, right? Then that died off, and then we went on YouTube. I went on YouTube one day. I seen a guy called Greg's Animations, one of the best AMVers for AMV in history. He basically paved the way for a lot of people to start editing AMV videos. He paved the way for me. When I first watched his video, I was like, I want to do that. I told myself, I want to do that. I want to edit videos. I want to do that for a living. Still do it to this day. I don't really do AMVs anymore, so I don't have much time. But I was like, let me do that. Let me see how I can do it. Now, my first AMV sucked. I still have the video to this day. It will be in this video. There's going to be a bunch of videos in this, guys. Just know some of these videos are mine, some of these videos aren't. Some people's names are in these videos, or I downloaded these videos a long time ago and the person's channel was completely gone. But I love the AMVs. Like, my first ever one wasn't good. My second one wasn't that good, but you know, I got better over time. I got better. But then it was Lose Control. Then it was Very Bunkai, Ainatsu. It was just so many AMVers. I'm like, damn, these guys are good. And eventually I was getting good too. And I started getting recognized from some of these guys. I'm like, whoa, like I'm getting recognition from these guys. Now this is my first ever YouTube channel that I made for these videos. The second one is still up. It has 122 subs. The third one is Chris AMVs. I was trying to come back, but I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm done with AMVs. And now I'm doing this. Now AMVs will be on this channel. I guarantee you they will be on the channel. They won't be 100%, but they will be on the channel. But video editing, it came off of Greg's animation. He is the reason why I became a video editor. He is the reason why I want to become a video editor. AMVs, vlogs, reactions, it don't matter what it is. I love to edit videos. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't know what I'm going to do in life. I'll be honest with you guys. I probably wouldn't know, because he's the reason why I'm a video editor, bro. It's crazy, right? It's actually really crazy. Now, around the time when when I was editing, around that time, I was playing Gates Eneron. Gates Eneron died. I even made a Gates video. The video's gone. It's deleted. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know what happened. But yeah, that happened. And when Gates died, I was still editing videos, you know, time to time AMVs, you know, trying to just kind of get in the groove, you know, trying to be better, you know. And then eventually I started playing NBA 2K13. Now, NBA 2K13, my friend told me to buy it for the PS3 because he played 2K. My friend Christian, that's my boy. He told me to get it eventually. So we started playing Blacktop online. It was fun as hell. I was like, wow, this is really fun. The game was fun as hell, bro. And I saw myself playing 2K for a long time. Now, let me put something in here. Grand Theft Auto for PS3. Let me tell y'all something about Grand Theft Auto for PS3. If you were not in a gang or a clan or a group in Grand Theft Auto, you was missing out, because we used to have gang battles, gang wars. We used to think we was in a gang for real. Now, I was in a blood game back in early GTA days. Now, these GTA days, everybody was on PS3 playing GTA. Everybody. That's when GTA first came out. Everybody was going crazy. Niggas was skipping school to play GTA. Now, around this time, I was in a blood gang. Eventually left the blood gang, joined Brogue Avenue Brawls. Now, Brogue Avenue Brawls will always be in my blood, bro. Because, listen, y'all niggas be like, oh, Grove Street was the shit. Yeah, but all the little kids was in Grove Street on GTA Online. The grown or good players was in Brogue Avenue or Ballers or Crips. Now, that's where I met my boy Money and my boy Fitzroy. We used to run Brogue Avenue Balls. We used to be active. We were the leaders technically, and Money's brother. But Money's brother barely was on. But that nigga was good too. Now we used to have clan battles. We used to beef with all these gangs. Listen, if I had all the clips, we took hella W's more than L's. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. You guys complain, or you can say Grove Street this, Grove Street that. Yeah, Grove Street for story mode, but Grove Street Online was terrible. There was only a handful of them that are actually pretty decent. But the ballers ran the gangs in GTA Online. I could be completely honest with you guys like that. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. The gangs for like GTA was run by ballers. If it wasn't the ballers, it was the Crips. The Crips were running GTA. The Bloods were I used to be Blood on GTA. We used to get bodied. I used to get tired of that shit. Like, eventually I joined the ballers because the Blood gang I was in died off. Everyone said, fuck it, we gonna leave because our leader left. We gonna leave. We all went our separate. Now, one of my boys, Almighty, I still talk to this day. He was cool. He joined another Blood set. He was like, you don't want to join? I was like, no, I'm gonna go with Almighty Dante and join him. Almighty G and Almighty Dante are two different people. Almighty Dante won the Brogue Avenue Ball, so I was like, you know what, let me join Brogue Ave, see what's up with them. So that's when I met Money. Eventually met the rest of the crew, met Fitzroy, and we used to just body clans left and right, especially Grove Street niggas. We used to destroy Grove Street niggas, bro. But yeah, GTA Online, early GTA Online, PS3 days was so fun. Like, it was so fun. I miss those days, bro. It was just amazing, bro. Amazing. And then I went to 2K16 because eventually I got my PS4 and GTA transferred to PS4, but the clan died for GTA because, you know, a lot of us were still on PS3 and then there was PS4 and, you know, it wasn't the same. So, you know, I was like, let's play 2K16. Now, Fitzroy was on 2K16. My boy Fitzroy, he was nice as hell on 2K16. I wasn't playing with him all the time, but I played with some other people. We all was nice as hell on 2K16. 2K16 was one of the best 2Ks ever. In people's opinion, they say 15, but I've never played 15, so I can't talk. But I played 16, and I was like a monster on 16. Now, let me tell you about 2K. 2K, the thing about 2K is we don't appreciate 2K at the level it is at that point because we didn't think 2K would get worse. Like, back then, we used to be like, man, this game 2K16 sucks. The loading screen, we get kicked out, you know, because the game wasn't perfect. But the other 2Ks came out, we're like, okay, we didn't appreciate that 2K enough. We did, but at the same time, we're like, okay, we think y'all gonna improve, but y'all don't. 2K16 was one of the best 2Ks ever, bro. Hands down, in my opinion, one of the best 2Ks ever. I had so much fun on 2K16. Eventually, I stopped playing 2K16 because the servers got shut down. That's the only thing about 2K. They shut their servers down whenever like 2K17 and 18 drops. So I started playing Titanfall 2. I was a dominant player on Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 was so fun. It was a very underrated game. They released it at the worst time. They released Titanfall 2 around the time Call of Duty and Battlefield released their games, so they thought they can compete with them, which was a terrible idea, stupid idea. But a lot of people still play Titanfall 2. It had a small community and eventually went free, and then more people started recognizing Titanfall 2 as a really good game. Now, I waited for Titanfall 2 to come out because when we first saw Titanfall be an Xbox exclusive, we found out it was only like a 1 or 2 year deal. So they're like, oh, eventually it's gonna come to the PS4, which it did, and that shit was crazy. I played Titanfall 2 every day. My friends were on 2K17. I did not like 2K17, so I was like, let me play Titanfall 2. Time goes on, I play other games, and now I'm on Apex. Apex Legends is the game I'm playing right now until another game comes out. Now, I'm good at Apex. I'm not like let me drop like 25 kills every day type player. Hell no, what I look like? I'm not that good, but I'm good in my own way. Now, gaming has always been there for me, you know. This is something I like doing, and it's crazy because now people getting sponsors, people getting scholarships from gaming. A lot of gamers are making more than the average person, like the average doctor now, because you gotta look at it this way, bro. People used to make fun of us gamers, man. Like, oh, he's just a fat kid living in my basement. All he don't do shit but play video games. He get fat all day. And now we making money from this. There are streamers making 50K a month just for streaming video games. That's crazy, right? We're doing something we love and now making money for it. That's the best feeling. Now, some of y'all, I understand some of y'all like games, but some of y'all suck. But some of y'all like games, y'all only doing it for the money. This is what I like doing. I love playing video games. I love this shit. I love video games. I love Apex. I love Titanfall. I love all these games. All these games I've said, I love them. I've been playing these games for years. 24 years old. I'm trying to get recognized from playing these games and getting money from it so I can improve my equipment for my streams and play what I loved. I love gaming, bro. Now this is my gaming and video editing history of everything I've done. Thanks for watching, guys. More content coming soon. Later.